All right, can you hear me? Okay. All right, great. Yeah, I can share my screen. Hopefully, everyone will be able to see it okay. I'm going to be doing a lot of jumping back and forth. So I'm going to be sharing my screen on sharing and stuff like that. So 1 second. Let me just get this to work. You guys can see it. Okay. Hold on 1 second. And I think I just have to. What do I need to do here to share my screen? Do I just like click here? Oh, I see. Yeah, it's not letting me share my screen. Do you want me to like leave? Do you want me to leave and come back or? It's still not letting me share. But, no, yeah, I'll leave and come back. 1 second. No, it's still not letting me, but I could just go over stuff without sharing until we figure it out. So because we got so many people here, I want to kind of get things going. Uh, so we'll let Leon kind of figure out the share the screen thing here while I'm kind of talking. I did put some stuff together. And in the meantime, Leon, just interrupt me when you figure out the screen share and you get it working, and then I'll just start sharing stuff. So at a high level, I kind of wanted to give an overview of the market uh, for 2022, kind of 2025. This is kind of a short term outlook of what's going on because it's such a fast moving market and ecosystem, kind of talking about crypto. Um, and I have it broken down into really five key areas. And it starts really with the layer ones. And we're going to talk about the layer one ecosystem, then AI and everything around AI, gaming, which is another big narrative this cycle, RWAs or real world assets, and then we're going to finish that off with memes, Leon's favorite subject. So kind of an overview of the layer one ecosystem. If you want to break it down, you have the main layer one blockchain, and then you have the supporting infrastructure that really helps attract and build the TVL under that particular or total value locked under that particular blockchain. So, for example, I use a website called DeFi Llama. I can't show that to you right now, but if you Google that, you can find it. And inside there, you can see all the chains. If you want all these layer ones that we're talking about, it could be Ethereum, it could be Solana, it could be a whole bunch of or different ecosystems. Some of them are even layer twos, like Base would show up there. But in general, this is kind of an ecosystem overview. So if you wanted to, let's say, invest in Solana's ecosystem, you can invest in the DEX or DEXs, that being something like a Jupiter or Radium, and then perps for perpetual trading like Drift. And then there's staking and lending, and that could be something like a Jito. And sometimes there's more than one. So you could when you're in these platforms, you can see the overall growth that's coming in from a TVL standpoint in percentages. You could see it charted out, and then you can overlay that with the fully diluted value of that particular asset within that ecosystem. So that's kind of where I really try to lock things up very quickly. So I choose the big players that I liked this cycle, that being Solana, Sui, and Base. And I saw the biggest growth with those ecosystems. So then I went in and I kind of locked up the infrastructure for all of them. So I have 3 different plays. Actually, in some cases, more than 3 different plays, but at least I wanted my bases covered for those. Then after that, we have AI. And with AI, there are kind of 4 main areas in general. I mean, there's the AI is huge, but to simplify it, there's kind of 4 main areas. So one's platforms. There's a lot of these AI platforms out there. And then you have this newer thing that's come out within the last month or so, and that's AI agent launch platforms and ecosystems. And then we have AI agents themselves. We're going to talk about that. And then you have DePIN, which is your like decentralized physical infrastructure. We'll talk about that as well. So a good example of the platform is something like Tars AI on Solana. It's actually one of, I think, the only projects on Solana that was endorsed by the Solana ecosystem itself. And I can't show you this because I can't share my screen, but what I like to do is I like to go into a bunch of different sites and analyze these particular projects. I use CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and a number of others, but to keep it simple, those are probably 2 of the easiest ones. I like to go in there. Oh, did you figure it out? All right. Do you want me to just jump in there now and pick things up? Okay.
On Leon. Good. I didn't think he could hear me. I was just joking around. All right. Got it. All right. We'll mute then.
All right, I just shared my screen again. I guess everyone was able to see it. So I think we could get going. Can you see my screen okay there, Leon? Yep, yep. We'll go quick. I'll just catch everybody up. So I just want to kind of give this is kind of the big narratives. Again, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the ecosystem in the industry, but I just wanted to simplify things. I can go on talking for hours and go into a lot of minutia and all different nooks and crannies in crypto. There's so much stuff happening and so many things evolving. But at a high level, um, I wanted to kind of break down the narratives that I focus on that I think have the biggest potential in value in this cycle, from a return standpoint and a focus of energy and liquidity standpoint. So quickly again, could talk about layer one ecosystems, and some of those are layer twos, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to talk about AI and everything around AI, gaming, real world assets, and memes. So layer one ecosystem, and this could be a lot of different ecosystems too. Like I said, it can even be a layer two like base. Doesn't have to necessarily be a one layer one. It's just for discussion purposes. I personally like to. I've made more returns in the past, outside of the layer one token by investing strategically into the ecosystem, and especially into projects that had a lot of TVL locked, especially if for some reason the FDV starts to fall below the TVL and it's such a volatile market, you do get those opportunities. So I like investing in the DEXs, the perpetual trading platforms, and staking and lending. So good example of this is Solana. So you could invest in Radium or Jupiter, from a DEX standpoint, Drift and or Jito if you're looking at like staking and lending and those types of things. So that's kind of how I approach each one of these. Give me 1 second here. 1 second here. I'm just going to bring up how you can actually look at this stuff, which I think is important. Second. Awesome. Yeah, I was just going to bring up DeFi Llama so people can see this. And I think I got it. Yeah. All right, let me share my screen again. Okay. So this is a site that I use to help me analyze these chains. So this website's called DeFi Llama. It's DeFiLlama.com, and you can search by specific projects here. So let's say you wanted to look up Radium, you could just type Radium here, and you can see the growth for Radium, and then you can compare the TVL or total value locked currently in Radium versus the fully diluted value. And you can kind of zoom in and check things out and see if it's worthwhile from an investment standpoint. So the FDV now is actually higher than the TVL. So it's a wash. It's not that bad. But if you go back in time, you'll find points of time possibly where there was value there in that particular project. So the other way, probably the easier way, I like to kind of just dive into things is clicking on the chains. And then under here, you're going to see all all the different chains with total value locked, and obviously you could see Ethereum is huge from a TVL standpoint, around 80 billion. And then you can kind of see the change in time going into that ecosystem. So it's a good way to kind of see which of these systems is growing the most. And by far right now, like Hyperliquid is like on fire, and they're doing really well from a trading standpoint and those types of things. So we already talked about Solana, but like we can take a look at Base, and you can see here they give you all these categories as well to make it simple, so you don't really have to guess. So Aerodrome is kind of like the big DEX on there. There are things happening with Uniswap as well. You have lending and you have other things, and then again, you can kind of see how things are going, how each one of these are doing from an overall growth standpoint, and how much TVL they have locked in. And then you could just like click on one, compare it with FDV. And then again, you can make a determination of if you think it's a good investment or not. So that's it for layer ones. I'm going to change my screen here again. 1 second. Let me, I got to switch back the slides. Yeah, I personally like that when I can get something where the FDV is below the TVL or close to it. Obviously, lower the better. That means it's undervalued from a market perspective. That's just the way people are interpreting that. Now, the other good thing to see is if you see something that has high growth, and we might be at a phase in the market now where it might be more and more difficult to find that deep value as you could have maybe a month or so ago, or 2 or 3 months ago. But yeah, that's a good question. So let me see if you guys can see this. Can you guys see my slide again? Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about AI projects pretty quick, because we kind of repeating this again. So you can break these down into different segments of AI. And there's a million things going on, and I'm not going to cover every little, crazy thing that's happening on a daily basis here with AI. It's evolving. It's incredible. It's fast paced. And the different things that are happening have been like kind of blowing my mind in this space. So at a high level, there are AI platforms. A lot of those are kind of like legacy platforms that do a lot of things, help you out with, different types of processing of data and other things with LLMs and other things. So those are kind of these infrastructure type of platform type of AI plays. And then kind of this new thing that's been popping up are these agents. And I think a good place to invest there, especially from a starting standpoint, is are these agent platforms or agent launch platforms. Those are the platforms that are actually creating these AI agents. And these AI agents are almost like these entities that are existing in the ether, if you want to call it, online. They can be on social media. They can have their own websites. They can have a whole bunch of different things and different hooks and other instances. And in some cases, they actually have swarms of these AIs that interact with each other and do different things. And the idea there is some of these generate revenue with all different types of ways. They have all different types of tokenomics, and people find them very interesting, and they attract a lot of traffic and therefore growth. So there are people that love investing in these agents. And then you have DePIN, and that's like decentralized physical infrastructure. This would be anything from storage, AI type storage, like a Bitensor, or something where there are like GPUs from NVIDIA, like an Aether and stuff like that. So I kind of show you some of these projects really quick. Hold on 1 second. So is this helpful to you guys? Are you guys getting anything out of this? Hopefully this is good. Just give me give a thumbs up, a thumbs down, some feedback. Hopefully this information is helpful to you guys. All right, so let me share my screen again. All right, can you see my screen okay? All right, so this is one of them I was talking about, TARS. And I'm going to give you guys kind of a high level overview of kind of like how I approach a lot of these projects. So I like looking at the chart over time. Some of them are newer, some of them are older charts. I like to compare the market cap versus the fully diluted market cap. And then sometimes you can actually see the token unlocks, and it gives you an understanding of how many tokens are going to be released to the market over time and dilute the current supply. So about 50% of the tokens, a little bit more, are out there. So there could be, you might need to prepare for a lot of this dilution over time. So that's something to think about and plan for if you're making an investment. I like to see at least 50%. I prefer fully diluted projects, but anything where you're seeing like maybe 5%, 10%, 25%, unless it's like smoking hot, or the token outlocks are far beyond when you're planning to exit the project, then I would say it's a red flag that you might want to consider before you invest. I'm only going to go over this on TARS. I'm not going to do this for every single one. It's just because there's been a lot of questions about this stuff. Then I go to the website, and we'll do that in a second. And these links are like all here in a lot of these platforms, whether it's CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Then I go to the Twitter, and if you want to hit all the social media, you're welcome to. And that gives you an idea of how many people are going there, how active they are, how many people are actually following them. And especially if it's a new site, that's something to take in, or a new project, that's something to take into consideration. So if you have a project that's been around for years, obviously they should have a lot of followers. But if you have a newer project and they have a lot of followers, that means it's something exciting. And that's something that piques my interest as well. Then people ask, okay, how do I trade it? And there's a button up here, or you can just scroll down to markets. And this shows you all the markets, and you can set this up as with a centralized exchange if you want. And you can take a look at all the platforms and where they're trading. You can sort it by volume, and then you can see where it's traded. Then you can look at the dexes, Radium, and stuff like that. And then that's it in an overview. And when you're ready to trade it on, let's say, a decentralized exchange, you can actually copy the contract and then paste it onto your trading platform, and then you're actually buying the actual asset that you want to buy. So that's important too. Whatever one you use, I think it's really important. I've made the mistake where I've searched and clicked, and it ended up being some garbage token that they were just trying to copy the project that I was in and spoofing it. But anyways, I made that mistake once, and I'll never make that mistake again. So then, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up on a different screen. I think right now it's about 50-50. It's about 50% AI and 50% legacy. And I'll go over I can even go over the specific ones that I own. I don't mind doing that. So that's, yeah, I can mention those. So right now I'm focused more on legacy large cap memes. So I have like Popcat, Brett, and those types of larger cap plays. I feel like those are safer from a legacy meme standpoint, but I do have some AI agent memes as well, or AI agents. I don't know if you want to call them memes, but AI agents. So that's my mix. I do own Goat, being the original. And I'm going to explain all that too, kind of what's the difference between all those as well. Yeah, so then, like I said, you go to their website, check it all out on your own time, check to see how many followers they have on Twitter. Start sorting this data out if you want. You don't have to. That's what I do. Um, okay, so that's a platform, and then Virtuals. This is a platform that is actually one of the bigger agent launching platforms out there today. There's a whole bunch of them. AI 16Z is another one. There's Virtuals. There's AI Fund. There's a whole bunch of these. But this is kind of one of the bigger ones. You can check this out. You can look through it and make a decision if you find it interesting. If you want to throw some money at it or not, that's all up to you. Check out their Twitter. A lot, a lot. All of these have launched a ton. Yeah, so that's the tough thing. It's like, yeah, that's where social media and research come in. Um, and you want to see where all the mental capacity is today. And if you look, I like to find AI projects. They're either the first of their kind on a particular platform, or the first of their kind doing something, or where there's a lot of social buzz around it, or they're doing something very interesting or new that I find interesting. Um, I'm limiting my financial exposure to these. I have very little money in the agents. I mean, just be crystal clear. A lot of these are moonshots, and a lot of these could fade out. I have posted on about some of them. I find them very interesting. I find the tech very interesting. I am not. They are a very, 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 very small position. And like anything, like any meme or any crypto, they could be here today, gone tomorrow, from an investment standpoint. So these things move up and down, very a lot of volatility. I am probably going to hold some of the bigger ones. Like I like AIXBT, Cerebro's another one. So there's probably 3 or 4 that I'm going to probably hold on to that are at a level of market cap that I feel comfortable with, and that I've been seeing the market makers actually starting to load up on. Like AIXBT is one that the market makers are loading up on. And usually when you see something around a $200 million market cap, it becomes a little bit more stable than something that's like a 1 million or a 4 million or a 10 million market cap. So yeah, AIXBT is really interesting. This was one of the first ones, if not the first one, that launched on Virtuals. It was interacting with this other platform and launching its own project, and it was doing all this crazy stuff. And if you go on their Twitter page, for a lot of these, some of them have websites you can go to. There's a lot of things you can do from an interaction standpoint. They post a lot of things. You kind of see the whole history of when they quote unquote, some of them say, I woke up or I became sentient or whatever the case may be. And you can check it all out. And some of them are posting stuff that's purely financial. Some of them are just posting really vulgar things that people are really appealed to. I really don't know, and a bunch of other crazy stuff. So yeah, check that all out. And then we talked about DPIN, and a good example of this is actually a profitable project. And I can't believe the market cap for this is where it is. It's 3 billion, but and the FDV is way higher than the market cap. I still invested in this project because this kind of goes against the rules I was talking about, but because it is actually profitable, and because of that, and it being a crypto project that not only has a token that's launched, not only has it started doing things, it's actually collecting revenue. So I found that very interesting. So again, there is discretion. There's no like one rule fits them all, and you could do whatever you want. But again, you can go to their websites. You can read up on them. Some of them will act. What's that? I don't have that really available. I think it's in like the few $100,000 or like under $1 million in revenue so far. But it's really obviously really new and recent, and that can definitely scale. They have partnerships, and they actually have the real NVIDIA H100s to their disposal. And yeah, it's a very, very, very interesting deep end project. So I encourage anyone to look into. There's a bunch of these out there. I own Render. I own Ether. I own a few others. I bought this. I should disclose that. I bought this a lot cheaper than where it is today. So maybe when I did buy it, the numbers made more sense. But yeah, the market's moved a lot since I've made a lot of my moves. So yeah, and then you can go to their Twitter and you can see they almost have 1 million followers. So that's actually a pretty good thing. All right, next we'll go through these quick. We're almost done. And I'm going to pull up my presentation and we're going to talk about gaming, which I think is also a big narrative for this cycle. 1 second. Here we go. Okay. So I kind of break up gaming into 2 areas. There's many more, but just to keep it simple, there are gaming platforms and ecosystems and gaming like platform ecosystem conglomerates. And then there are individual games. And I think the deepest value today and probably one of the most undervalued areas that people have been ignoring a lot is gaming. And crypto has a way where the money starts to flow. It starts to flow from large caps to small caps. It starts to flow from different narratives. Like it started with memes. It went onto ecosystem plays. Then it's now gone kind of into utility and AI. And gaming's kind of sort of been left behind. There have been some projects that have taken off, but not the whole real ecosystem. And then you'll see pullbacks, like the meme coins had a big pullback. So there's rotations out of the sizes of projects and then within different narratives. So for platforms and ecosystems, I'll talk about, and individual games, I'll kind of give some examples of that in a second. Let me pull up my slides here. Hopefully I have these. Have the games. Yeah, 1 second. We'll do it right now. Here we go. And Prime's probably good. All right. So the 2 big ones that we can talk about from a platform standpoint are going to be Beam, and the other one that's a platform is Super or Superverse. As you can see, their FDV is much larger. You were talking 2 billion FDV. You're talking 2 billion FDV for both of these. I still see a lot of potential growth in these platforms, but I would say, do exactly what we talked about earlier. Do your own research, go into them, and then check them all out and determine which ones do you like the most. And Prime is an example of a gaming platform, which works with. Superverse is Polygon and ETH, and Beam is on BNB chain and ETH. Yeah. So they're on multi-chain. But yeah, I mean, I you can buy them on central exchanges. You can buy them on DEXs. You can buy them any way you want. So yeah, that's kind of it. There's a million games. I can go into games all day. I have a lot of games, a lot of gaming tokens. I own both Beam. I own both Beam and Super, and I probably have another, maybe another 8 or 10 different gaming plays, all from I started buying them at a couple $1 million, $4 million market cap, all the way up. So and the smaller market cap plays have really been big multi-baggers for me. So far they've been doing really well. And then the last kind of area that we're going to talk about, other than memes, I don't really have a slide for memes, but we can quickly talk about memes, is RWAs. And I think RWAs are the least talked about or least appreciated because they are not as exciting, I think, to a lot of people. AI thing. Um, but yeah, so there are big projects like Ondo Finance. They have partnerships with BlackRock. Then there's real estate type of things that are being brought onto the blockchain, art, and many other things. Right. So that's those are the kind of like the big ones for RWAs. Um, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Okay, am I still here? Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good, good. I'll show you some RWA projects. Okay, so RWA. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. Yeah, so you have Ondo Finance, and then if you go to their website, you can go into all the details of who they are, what they do. Check out their Twitter. I don't own Ondo. I used to own Ondo, and then I sold it. I just felt like it was a little overvalued. I probably made a mistake, but I reallocated that to a bunch of other mid cap to lower cap plays, and so far that trade's worked out really well. So we'll see how things go over the whole cycle. Parcel is a real estate play of real estate derivatives. So, for example, here you can, and I like this. It's good when you go to these sites to see who they're backed by. So, when I see something backed by Solana Ventures, Coinbase Ventures, A16Z or something like that, uh, anything that shows that there's some, how can I say this, stability in these projects, or the project is docked. If there's docs on the project, that means you know who the founders are, you know who the team is. Sometimes that gives you a little bit more confidence too in a project. So yeah, I encourage you to go through all these, listen to all them. Again, go to their Twitter, check them all out. I found this one just doing a lot of research. This is Art Trade. I really picked this thing up cheap. I think I picked this up somewhere down here in November. So I think the market cap on this thing back then was, yeah, it was something like under 20 million. It was probably in this dip here. It was like way under $20 million. That's all I remember. It was like so cheap. And it's like really almost 4x since then. I think I might have posted about it too on Dumb Money. But yeah, this is a very, it's what they're doing. Yeah, it's what they're doing. It's that, all right. So two, I mean, really good questions again. So look at their market cap and the FTV. So this is what you would call a fair launch project. When they launched it, you can kind of see their whole chart and kind of really started right here. They launched, and you can see everything's already fully diluted. Their full FDV is here. I think there's like maybe like 20-30 million dollars, and they explain that's for like internally for the team and stuff like that. But you can see almost the whole thing is, I mean, a few $100,000. The whole thing has already been pretty much released, which I really like. And they have a very interesting take on art, and they actually have like an art marketplace, and they have like Banksy and all these really interesting pieces of art. And this site is like legit. There's actually revenue. There are people bringing art here. There are people bidding on it. So this is like kind of that cross section between the art world, real world assets, and the blockchain. So it's really cool, really interesting. And it's really given these artists an avenue internationally to be able to uh, bring their art to the world. So, anyways, I found this fascinating. Here's some of the last auctions that they had too, so you could kind of scroll through stuff. Yeah, and I went to their Twitter page. They had a lot of followers for a relatively new project. So I mean, this is just some examples of RWAs. I own a basket of them, but I I found them very 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 interesting. So kind of the last thing is really memes, and then I think we can quickly do Q&A. Hopefully, I'm pacing this as fast as I can. I don't want to waste everyone's time. So for memes, and I kind of look at memes as kind of like three buckets if we want to talk about memes. One bucket of memes is we can call those old legacy dumb memes. And the first meme, if we want to say first meme token, was Doge, and that was actually its own layer one. That came out of the Bitcoin blockchain, and they created Doge on the layer one. It was a meme. And since then, there have been memes that have been launched off chains like Ethereum, and the hottest ones right now are really off of like Solana and Base and those types of ecosystems, or even ones on Sui. Off almost every chain, you can kind of launch a meme. And then the newer thing, if you want to call them memes, are these AI agents that are launching that kind of have their own personalities, their own doing those things. So the SPX 6900 and all the Murad tokens, and Leon could talk better to this after I'm done. This was the thesis coming into this before the bull run, that memes would be a very very hot thing. Memes would be there'd be a gravitas there of a bunch of liquidity and cults and all those types of things around these different memes that were being launched, and they would just grow like crazy this cycle. So those are kind of what I called old or legacy memes. They're still launched every day. There's millions of these things. But I think the newer stuff is where there's like a cross section of AI or artificial intelligence. And there's really two that came out first. The first one was Turbo. Technically, everyone gives the credit to Goat, but Turbo was really the first one where they went up to ChatGPT and they asked ChatGPT, "Hey, come up with a meme," and they came up with the design and the name and everything for Turbo, and they launched Turbo. But then there's Goat, which had to do with the Truth Terminal and Mark Andreessen, and there's a whole story behind that. And the Truth Terminal asked for money from Mark. Mark gave it, $50,000 as a grant in Bitcoin. Truth Terminal's like, I love this Goat meme. I love this Goatius Maximus meme, and everything is history from there. The Truth Terminal did not make Goat. It liked Goat. It was worshiping Goat. It really liked Goat, and from there, kind of everyone started piling into this meme that was just around forever, and then it took off. So again, those are memes. They're all over the place. There's millions of them. These things are very very volatile, especially a lower cap, and some of the larger cap ones can be volatile too. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And I'll just open up, and Leon, just add whatever you want, and hopefully that was a quick, good overview of things.
Yeah, I just posted a question on the general chat there, Leon. No, no, I was, yeah, I was asking about what's your typical exit strategy, or when do you start taking profits in basically like a level multiplier?
I have models out for that. I have my own spreadsheets. So let me take a step back. So it all starts with what I paid for the asset. So I look at that. I look at what the FDV was when I bought it, and then I try to figure out. I give a projection of what I think it could potentially do over the course of the cycle. Then from there, I have tables next to that of when I start taking profit out. So if I think something's going to 5x, let's say something I think might 10x, or I think something might 50x or 100x plus, my profit taking strategy would be different for each one of those. But typically, once I start to see a multiple generate, um, let's say on a safe side, let's say I see it go up 100% or 200%. At that point, I will at least take my money off the table. Usually, I've been waiting for more like 4 to 5x before I take all my money off the table. If it's something I think has a chance to 20 to 40 to 50x plus. But again, if I only think it's good at 4 to 5x or 3 to 4x, then I might start taking my profits sooner. So then I take my money out, and then I feather it out over a period of time. At the same time, I set triggers on the charts on key support and resistance levels and where I think things can be based on if it goes through the roof, then I'll have to use some type of fib levels, fib retracements, Fibonacci levels, and I'll set those alerts. If they get triggered, then I'll do a sell. Um, what's really important to understand with these assets, this is probably one of the most important things, is they're highly illiquid, and you would rather be taking profit as it's going up instead of it coming down. I've been in situations where I've tried to sell things and I can't get filled because things are moving so quickly in the downwards direction. As quickly as these things move up, they move down very fast. So I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to like I'm just telling you my approach and my strategy. Obviously, if something's a lot more liquid, you're on a centralized exchange, it's easier to trade. But if you're using DeFi, you really need to be really careful with how you're trading and how you're taking out your profits. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was great.
Yeah, w- hey Leon, when you're finished, I'll just want to share something really quick when you're done. Yeah, I completely agree. Um, I think I think Truth Terminal is probably one of the best places there to invest. That being Goat, I think that being the first, kind of almost like the Bitcoin of AI tokens. Uh, Let me quickly share my screen here. One second. Uh, let me let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah. So I just wanted to show some other examples of some of these AI agents. So, for example, this guy here is giving you instant alpha. So you come on here on Twitter. Some of these even have websites and other things. And if you scroll down, you can actually see it's pretty funny. Um, like he was talking about like Pepe, for example. Uh, Mentioned in the last 24 hours, how many times it was mentioned. It talks about the chart, talks about the price, indicating potential support. Price action suggests sideways trend. Popcat kind of breaks it down, shows a clear downward trend. You know how many mentions in the last 24 hours. So this guy's kind of giving you like crypto alpha AI from an agent, which is pretty insane. Well, I found that this project here very interesting. Um, and then there's this guy, Jailbreak, that actually goes into your agent and looks for vulnerabilities. And then there's actually payouts and rewards for that, um, which is pretty insane. Uh, and then there's this other one here called Hack Terminal that took things to another level where it found the vulnerability in Virtual's protocol, and then there was a reward for that, and then all the token holders got a share of that reward. Uh, Guys, go check this out in your own time. This is AICOTV.com. It's like you have your own avatars, and it's kind of like the streaming Twitch stuff. And this is all like kind of like AI agent type platform kind of stuff. Um, and then this is kind of the crazy thing, kind of next level stuff with agents or working with agents, and that's this Colin platform. And Colin has all of these agents all flowing up to Colin, kind of all existing and working together, which is which is pretty nuts. That that something like this can actually be happening. But yeah, so you can actually meet the swarm. It talks about kind of what they do, how they interact, and then each one of these is their own agent, and then they pull in alpha and data and information, and then they flow it up to Colin. They're all doing different things and working together. So yeah, anyways, I found that pretty nuts. So I just wanted to. Yeah, some of them are known, some of them are completely unknown. And what they're doing is creating their own communities and alpha with agents. So they're taking their agents or the agents things, and they're constantly posting, and they're going all over the place. and they're posting and they're talking and they're interacting. Some of them can actually talk inside Twitter Spaces and have full conversations. And so they're building communities with their own AI. So instead of someone having to physically go in there and generate stuff and type stuff out and do those things and get people to interact, these agents are rapidly interacting and building their communities and building their alpha. That's why so many new projects, meme projects, if you want to call it, these AI agent projects, are launching on these platforms as opposed to the legacy ones because of how quickly they can build communities around their projects, which is fascinating.
Hey, Leon, I'll ask one more question real quick if you don't mind. Yeah, so how do you both, what is your, how do you both go about looking for new projects, or where do you start, besides, where do you start looking for new things to invest in, new projects to follow? Like what piques your interest? What do you look towards as far as research wise? Where are you finding your stuff?
I use a bunch of things. I I use a lot of different signals to give me interest. I think the first one for me sometimes is price action. So there's a whole bunch of tools you can see what is actually moving from a price action standpoint. So at the end of the day, I think we're all here to make money. Um, Hopefully that makes sense. And so if I see something where the price action's moving, I will then take a next step sometimes to investigate it. Then there's my own kind of research time when I'm scouring social media, maybe YouTube, Twitter, and all those types of things to try to find alpha. Sometimes I sit in spaces and listen to projects being presented or people talking about interesting things. So yeah, that's kind of the ways I gather information, and then I kind of like lay it out, right? Do I think this has potential? Does this have staying power? What is the trade? Is this a quick get in and out? Is this something I can hold for a few months to a year? And Yeah, that's kind of my approach. And again, I analyze the project. I analyze the value of the project. I look at the charts. Look, hopefully, I can find a decent entry, um, and then plan my exit. So hopefully that makes sense.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I got right now for the legacy memes. I still have Blub from Sui. I have Brett. Cat Cat exploded today on a listing, and that was something I was monitoring on the market makers. Goat is one of their biggest positions. Ponky, Popcat. Obviously, I have SPX. I might get back into DGen. Um, DGen, and what's really interesting is they're loading up on Chill Guy. And Chill Guy also has perps on Binance. So yeah, they have about 10 million in Chill Guy right now loading up. Goat, they have about a little almost 12 million in Goat. So yeah, there's a lot of momentum there in those, but those are the legacy plays that I have. No. The market makers have Goat, not the Sui guys.
Take care.